Hello, Sunny Hill Church. Me again, Lou Bird. Welcome to Thursday's episode of Take 5. I'm going to be looking at 1 Corinthians 9, and Paul is continuing his challenge to the Corinthian church about what they're willing to surrender for the sake of the gospel. Paul defends the right of the apostle to take a wage from the church, which I'm grateful for. Thank you, Paul. He also defends the right of an apostle to have a wife and to take their wife with them as they travel as part of their ministry. He's not trying to say that people don't have rights and that they're important and that they're significant. But Paul's saying actually that even though they have rights and that we should be supporting the apostles in this way, and not just some of them, but all of them are entitled to it too, because it looks like there's a bit of a dispute. Paul's saying that even though that he has a right to this stuff, even though he has a right to an income, even though he has a right to take a wife ministering with him, he has chosen not to provide such an example to the people of how they could live. I think what Paul is such a kind of out there character, isn't he? He was kind of like a John the Baptist out there living, like, I will do anything at all costs. There is like nothing off limits for what I will do. Paul really displays this in saying that even though I have all the same rights as all of the other apostles, I'm going to choose not to kind of exercise these rights. I'm going to live over here in this kind of like extreme version of living so that maybe you can move here and do even some of the stuff that I'm trying to tell you is important. He is sold out for the sake of the gospel, right? No one else quite like Paul in this. He says in verse 22, I have become all things to all men, so that by all possible means I might save some. That's huge. What an incredible verse. What an incredible way to live your life. It reminds me of that Hacksaw Ridge film, that war film where everyone else has gone, the whole platoon has gone, everyone's dying up on Hacksaw Ridge, and the rest of the army's kind of rolled out and moved on and just sort of thought, oh, they're all dead, let's crack on elsewhere. And no, was it Spider-Man? It's not literally Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, I think. He's the soldier. He's a man of faith in the film. It's not scripture, in the film. And he's like crawling, saying, no, just one more. And he manages to save a whole ton of these people that were absolute write-offs by the army. And that's kind of Paul's mentality here, is that I'll do all of it. I will give anything to save one, to save some. And what Paul won't do, though, is compromise. Paul is a man of no compromise. So even though he's willing to do anything for the sake of the gospel being shared, he won't compromise on the message that's being shared, but he will change the way he delivers it. He will meet Jewish people where they're at, and he will meet the Gentiles where they're at, but at no point does he ever compromise the truth. And I think that's a big lesson for us as Christians, because some of this stuff is a bit tricky, and sometimes we might be trying to kind of hide some of the harder stuff, or soften it, or outright just change it for the sake of trying to get someone to know Jesus. But that's not what Paul's saying in this. He's not saying, make it easier and more palatable. No, he's saying, what can you and I do? What can we surrender to make sure that the gospel is getting out there? And I'm really challenged by Paul's desperation. How desperate are you to see someone come to faith? What is it in your life and my life that you're thinking you could give up to see someone come to faith? Maybe it's your reputation. Maybe it's material wealth. Maybe you're someone who doesn't give, and maybe God's calling you to give. Maybe it's your comfort. It's God calling you out of a comfort zone, asking you to share your faith with someone, and actually you're going to have to give up your comfort. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's your hard-pressed time. Even now as you're watching this, racing to work, maybe God's saying, actually, you know what? Paul gave up absolutely everything over here. So it's actually, you could meet him in the mission here by giving up time, comfort, money, reputation. What is it that God's calling you to give up? Paul ends his message by saying, or ends this chapter by saying, he beats his body and he makes it a slave. It is a tough thing that we're called to do, absolutely. But Paul reminds us that we do it for a prize. And the prize is that we get to be part of God's incredible salvation plan for mankind. So there's your challenge today. What is it that God's calling you to give up so that you can really take hold of the prize that lays ahead? Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.